Time to warm up. I wonder where this little plant come from. Time to know. Plants are alive, just like people and animals. How do we know this? Living things all do certain things. They grow and die. They need energy, nutrients, air, and water. They produce young. They are made up of cells. They react to what's around them. Starting to grow. Where do plants come from? Plants come from seeds. Each seed contains a tiny plant waiting for the right conditions to germinate or start to grow. Root, leaf. What do seeds need to grow? Seeds wait to germinate until three needs are met: water, temperature, and soil. During the early stages of its growth, the seedling depends upon the food supplies stores in it until it is large enough for its own leaves being make its food through photosynthesis. The seedling's roots push down into the soil to anchor the new plant and to absorb water and minerals from the soil. And its stem with the new leaves pushes up towards the light. The germination stage ends when a shoot emerges from the soil, but the plant is not done growing. It is just started. Plants need water, warmth, nutrients from the soil and light to continue to grow. Reproduction from stem. Reproduction in mint plant. You must have consumed hot mint sauce, pudina chutney. You might have noticed that the leaves are separated and the stalk is usually thrown away as a waste from the stalks to make the hot sauce. Do the following activity to see how mint plant produces more of its kinds from the stalks that are thrown away. Activity 1. Take mint stalks and plant them in the soil. Care must be taken of the direction of the stalk which will be put in soil. Water them regularly and observe them. You will notice after about a week or so, these stalks start sprouting and tiny leaves coming out. A new mint plant is produced. Make your observations and record how many days it took for the leaves to sprout. Carry on the process and soon you will notice an increase in the number of mint plants, small new leaves. Shoot, note, adventurous roots. So, we can conclude that a mother plant produces more of its own kind. A mango plant gives rise to another mango plant, just as a dog gives birth only to a puppy. The process of producing more of their own kind is called reproduction. We have already learned the parts of a plant in the previous class. All the parts of a plant such as roots, stems and leaves except the flowers are known as the vegetative parts. We have also noticed that after a while a young plant bears flowers in a particular season. Flower is known as the reproductive part. Observe the parts of a plant given below. Left side: shoot tip, epidermis, lateral bud, node, vascular tissues, ground tissue, shoot root, primary root, lateral root. Right side: flower, leaf, seeds, fruit, root hairs, root tip, root cap. Activity 2. Divide the class into 3 groups. Give a plant to each group as mentioned below to study the process of reproduction. Group 1, potato. Group 2, bryophyllum. Group 3, carrot. Follow the instruction given as under. Group 1. Instructions. Take a fresh potato. observe the scars on it with the help of a magnifying glass. You may find bud in them. These scars are also called as eyes. Cut a few pieces of a potato, each with an eye, and bury them in the oil. Give water to the pieces regularly for a few days and observe their progress. Group 2. Instructions. 1. Take a bryophyllum leaf. 2. Keep the margin of the leaf moist. 3. Place this leaf along with the margin in the soil in a pot and press it. 4. Sprinkle water on the soil every day. Group 3. Instructions. 1. Take a carrot, cut the head part. 2. Put a number of them in a flat plate. 3. Add water. Note your observation after 2 or 3 days and share them with the other groups. Observations. Group 1. You will observe new potato plants sprouting from the eyes. Group 2. You will observe new plants arising from the margins of the bryophyllum leaf. Group 3. You will observe cluster of leaves arising from the head of the carrot. We would notice that in potato, the eyes, in bryophyllum, the margins of the leaf, and in carrot, the head of the root gives rise to the new plants, meaning thereby new plants arise from a stem in potato, from leaves in bryophyllum, and from roots in the case of carrots. Conclusion. We can conclude that vegetative parts of the plant can give rise to the new plants. Stamen is a male sex organ and pistil is a female sex organ of a flower. Let us now study the various parts of a stamen and a pistil. Reproduction from leaves. Leaves play an important role in the life of the plant, providing the leaves to collect and store sunlight for photosynthesis. Still, leaves inevitably fall and are scattered by the wind. Some plants have adopted to use this to their advantage and store everything necessary to produce in their leaves. The bryophyllum plant has thick and fleshy leaves. It has buds along the edges of its leaves. Tiny new plants grow from these buds. When the leaves drop down to the ground, the buds start growing. Reproduction from roots. Roots of some plants, such as sweet potato, produce new plants. Support a sweet potato in a jam bottle full of waste using toothpicks as shown. Reproduction from seeds. A seed develops from an ovule after fertilization. It consists of a tough coat or testa enclosing an embryo which is made up of plumule, a radicle and 1 or 2 cotyledons. In favorable conditions, the seed can grow and become a fully independent plant, bearing flowers and seeds during its life cycle. In the embryo of the seeds, all the potentialities of development and growth to a mature plant, reassembling the other members of its species in almost every detail of leaf shape, cell distribution, and flower color and structure. Main features. Testa. A tough, hard outer coat. The testa protects the seed from the fungi, bacteria, and insects. It has to be split open by the radicle before germination can proceed. Hilum. The hilum is a scare left by the stalk which attaches the ovule to the ovary wall. Micropyle. The micropyle is a tiny pore in the testa opposite the tip of the radicle. It admits water to the embryo before active germination. Radicle. The radicle is the embryonic root which grows and develops into the root system of the plant. Plumule. The plumule is the embryonic shoot. In it, two or more leaves are usually visible with a growing point enclosed between them. Cotyledons. The grasses and narrow-leaved plants like the iris and bluebill have seeds with the only one cotyledon. The other flowering plants all have two cotyledons. They are leaves attached to the plumule and radical by the short stalks, and they often contain food reserves, which are used during in the early stages of germination. In most plants, the cotyledons are brought out of the testa and above the ground where they become green and make food by photosynthesis. The cotyledons eventually fall off, usually after the first foliage leaves have been formed. The cotyledon leaves bear no resemblance to the foliage leaf, the shape of which is first apparent when the plumule leaves open and grow. Seed germination. The development of a seed into a seedling is called germination. Let us do an experiment to find out the conditions necessary for the germination of seed. What you will need: fresh seeds of your choice, such as pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, lima beans, or pinto beans. Good quality soil. If you don't have any, you can buy some potting soil at your local garden store. A container to hold the soil and your seeds. Water, light and heat. Instructions: 1. Fill the container with soil. 2. Plant the seeds inside the soil. 3. Place the container somewhere warm. Sunlight is good, but try to avoid too much direct sunlight. A windowsill is a good spot. 4. Keep the soil moist by watering it every day. Be careful not to use too much of water. 5. Record your observations as the seeds germinate and seedlings begin to sprout from the seeds. What's happening? Hopefully, after a week of looking after them, your seedlings will be on their way. Germination is the process of a plant emerging from a seed and beginning to grow. For seedlings to grow properly from a seed, they need the right conditions. Water and oxygen are required for seeds to germinate. Many seeds germinate at a temperature just above normal room temperature, but others respond better to the warmer temperatures, cooler temperatures, or even changes in temperature. While light can be the important trigger of germination, some seeds actually need darkness to germinate. If you buy seeds, it should mention the requirements for the specific type of seed in the instructions. Continue to look after your seedlings and monitor their growth. For further experiments, you could compare the growth rates of different types of seeds or the effect of different conditions on their growth. Pollination. We have often noticed insects visiting flowers. They visit flowers for their food, nectar and pollen. During the process, they can carry pollen grains on their wings or feet and inadvertently deposit them on the stigma of another flower. This transfer of pollen grains to the stigma of another flower is known as pollination. When the pollen grains are deposited on the stigma of the same flower or on the stigma of the different flower of the same plant, the process is known as self-pollination. If they get deposited on stigma of different plant, the process is known as cross-pollination. Agents of pollination. Pollen grains have a tough protective coat which protects them from dying. When they are light, they can be carried by wind. If they are sticky, insects or any animal visiting them can carry them away as they stick to their bodies and drop them on the next flower. Pollen grains can also be carried by water in aquatic plants. Since wind, water, insects and animals help in pollination, They are called the agents of pollination. Notice the pictures showing the pollination by insects, birds, and winds. Pollination by insects. Rip another touching bee, bee stung, rip, sticks touching bee, anther, filament style, knot, ovary. Pollination by birds. Crops. India produces different types of crops due to difference in soil and climate. At some places, rice is produced more in quantity, and at some other places, more wheat is produced. In some regions, maize, jute, and in other regions, sugarcane is produced. Some of the crops grown are food crops such as rice, maize, or wheat. Fiber crops such as jute or hemp. Oil producing crops such as peanut, mustard, and linseed. Crop growth depends not only on rainfall but also on other climatic factors and non-climatic, such as availability of suitable soils. During some periods of the year or at high altitudes, crop growth may be prohibited by the low temperature. Other areas may not be suitable for certain crops due to high temperatures. Summer crops. We have two crop seasons during the year. Summer crops are called as kharif crops, rice, millets, maize, pulses, jowar, bajra, jute, hemp, and peanuts are kharif crops. Vegetables that grow best in summer are onion, pumpkin, brinjal, lady's finger, spinach, tomato, garlic, and gourd. Some fruits that grow best in summer are mango, melon, lychee, plum, apricot, and peach. Winter crops. Winter crops are called rabi crops. Wheat, barley, grain, mustard, and peas grow well in winter.